god! They actually did it! Super Mario 3D All-Stars is apparently real! The rumors are true! Oh my god! This is like one of the best Nintendo Directs ever!
Super Mario 3D All-Stars will launch on September 18th. A limited-run retail edition and a digital edition of the game will be available for a limited time until the end of March 2021. For a limited time.
Well then, I should have known Nintendo would always put in a however statement right after we're all excited about something. You know, instead of actually giving the customer everything they could want plus more. What the f***, Nintendo?
You found a side quest!
I think it goes without saying that 2020 has been a pretty crappy year for a lot of us. I don't need to reiterate how the coronavirus pretty much put the world on standby, and naturally progress on anything will have to be put on hold just to prevent the spread of coronavirus, which includes people working from home. With that said, Nintendo Directs had a pretty dry spell this year. I mean, to be fair, they can only announce things that are in the works and are making significant progress on, and it's not the end of the world if I walk away from a Nintendo Direct without seeing something I'm excited for, but with the cancellation of E3, I would have at least expected something to get hyped for, something that's been worked on since the past few years that has been under wraps. I get that hype culture is more often than not a recipe for disappointment, but I can't help but indulge in the hype when it warrants it. If I like a video game and they're making another one that expands upon said game, well, why shouldn't I get excited for it? I'm only human after all. And hey, it's been 35 years since Super Mario Bros. Was released on the NES, so having a Mario-centric Nintendo Direct was most definitely up my alley, as the Super Mario series was what reinvigorated my interest in video gaming. So, I saw the Direct, and I'm not going to deny, I am legitimately excited for some of these announcements. That one Mario Kart AR game looks really cool, and I am legitimately excited for Super Mario 3D World's Switch port. That's mainly because I didn't have a Wii U, so I missed out on it initially. And 3D All-Stars was a pleasant surprise. Like, yeah, 64 didn't get the widescreen treatment like Sunshine did. I mean, there is a leaked PC port that has widescreen support, so what the heck, Nintendo? But I was impressed that they changed the graphics of the button prompts, instead of just hoping players would read the virtual manual to see which buttons represents the old Nintendo 64 controller layout. However, the omission of Super Mario Galaxy 2 surprised a lot of players, with me being one of them, especially given how similar it was to Galaxy 1 in terms of game engine and physics.
And yeah, the absence of Galaxy 2 is very questionable in my honest opinion. I'm personally not fine with it, because it'd be like if Bethesda released a 3D Fallout collection with 3, 4, and 76, but excluded New Vegas for some reason. They're aware that it's a fan favorite. It's no secret that it's a fan favorite, so why would they exclude it?
But this video is not about the exclusion of Galaxy 2, nor whether the collection itself is worth $60 when other collections like Metal Gear Solid Legacy Collection and Kingdom Hearts The Story So Far gave way more bang for their buck and didn't sell at $60 upon launch. But instead, this video is about the limited release window. I freaking hate this business tactic. It's been compared to the Disney Vault method for a very good reason too. And for those unaware of the Disney Vault tactic, basically in the 1980s, Disney was hesitant to release their movies on home video due to piracy concerns, as well as the rental market threatening potential sales. So they implemented a limited release window where they could sell their popular movies on their anniversaries, and once they're gone, that's it.
If you wanted Snow White on VHS so bad, you should have gotten it at full price. What, you were hoping for a price drop?
It's kind of similar to how during the spring of 2020, everyone rushed out to get toilet paper, causing a shortage, and then the shortage scared others into buying toilet paper just when it restocks in mass bundles before it was gone for a while. But that wasn't intended, that was an actual scarcity, and you bet your unwiped ass it drove up sales of toilet paper to the point where the demand was higher than the supply. Which is great for business, but not so great for the customers. So for Disney, and now Nintendo apparently, to implement an artificial scarcity, folks would rush out to stores and pay full price for their products before it goes back into the vault. As Disney commercials would say,
Don't you wish you bought Pinocchio when you had the chance? Wouldn't you love to have Lady and the Tramp in your collection? Now they're gone. And time's running out for Cinderella, too. But you still have a chance to own Disney's most celebrated animated masterpiece. It's Bambi. Still available, but for a very limited time.
Hun, you better hurry up.
Don't let Bambi get away.
Wow, these commercials are upfront about this scummy practice. They're not even hiding the fact that it's a very scummy business practice. They're using consumer anxiety as a marketing tactic. Like, what the hell is that? This is why my generation doesn't like giant corporations. Because this is just exploitive. And the way the copyright system works, there's no other alternatives to these favorite movies. So, you're screwed.
And it just pains me to see Nintendo use this tactic now. I am aware that this isn't exactly the first time Nintendo has done something like this, as 10 years ago they had a limited re-release of Super Mario All-Stars for the Nintendo Wii console on Mario's 25th anniversary, and I am not defending that release either, but the difference between then and now was that the Virtual Console had at least playable versions of the NES originals, even the lost levels, which made this limited release less of a burn on the customer. But now, we don't exactly have that luxury on the Switch, with Super Mario 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy never seeing a re-release digitally on that console. So when this collection is no longer available, then that's it. All you have is the original hardware, if you even have that at all, which, let's face it, is degrading as the years go by. Controller sticks wear out, so do buttons, and even cartridges and discs wear out over time, especially discs, and that's bad for gaming preservation.
If you want to play these classic games on these classic consoles and the consoles break, well, why don't you just buy a new console? It's really that simple.
And this expiration date isn't just for physical copy releases. Digital copies are going away on March 31st, 2021 as well. I understand that it takes a lot of time, labor, and resources to make physical copies, and so digital releases are a much cheaper option for developers and publishers. And that's why so many indie titles are exclusively digital and only get physical copies from other distributors like Limited Run Games months after a digital debut. But getting rid of the digital copy for 3D All-Stars is really suspicious. Nintendo owns the rights to 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy last time I checked. The copyright holders of those games aren't split among other developers like they were for Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars, since they collaborated with Squaresoft for that title. So this is most definitely an attempt to scare consumers to either buy the game at full price in its limited time span, and when many customers don't care about this business tactic and are out buying these limited copies regardless, it scares those on the fence, and they end up spending $60 on something even if they're not going to play it immediately but want to hold on to so they don't regret it later. And when they're all gone, there's still the problem of scalpers and scammers that could circulate their products in the fallout of this limited run. And this is a really ugly domino effect, all in the interest of making money. I really hope for those who will buy it that Nintendo doesn't release a small wave of copies like they did the NES Classic Edition. Remember that mess?
And this isn't the only game that'll be gone by March. There's also Super Mario Bros. 35, which will also be gone by March 31st, and it's arguably worse in this case.
Does anyone remember Super Mario 99, that massive multiplayer fan game that was taken down by Nintendo shortly after its release? Well, Nintendo made their own, except you can only go up to 35 players, which is fine I guess, any more would just be chaos. Well, this is a cute little digital title that seems like the perfect way to celebrate the series' 35th anniversary, and because it's digital only, once the March date approaches, it's a gone. Nothing you can do about it. You can't buy it physically, you can't dump it online, you only have 6 months to play through these Super Mario Bros. Inspired courses with your friends online before it disappears, presumably forever, and that's horrible for game preservation. A little side Mario title, lost in internet oblivion. Pretty soon the only experience of it left is through Let's Plays and review videos, and since that footage is only as good as the recording hardware of the time, future generations will truly never know what it's like to play this limited time experience. It wouldn't even be a hyperbolic old fart saying either. It's one thing to use artificial scarcity to drive full price sales of a game, but for a free Switch Online title is where I draw a big question mark followed by 2 exclamation points.
Because I can't even think of a business reason as to why they would get rid of this title. It's not competing with other Mario titles on the Switch. It's a free Switch Online video game that you can download and play with your friends. It would only further incentivize more Switch Online memberships, especially for those who are on the fence but are a huge fan of Mario and want to play something with their friends. So, this is just a confusing scenario. It leaves even a corporate bootlicker bewildered as to why they would do this.
For once, I agree with you. It's like they don't even want their Switch Online service to succeed.
But back to 3D All-Stars, I completely understand many gamers have not experienced some of these titles before, so despite people like me being all too familiar with these titles, I completely understand that some of these titles are new to them. And even though I personally refuse to buy this collection on principle, I won't shame others for deeming this collection worth their hard-earned money, because if you work a less than ideal job and saved up just enough money for something you really want, you're entitled to buy it despite the business practices. But the consumer deserves way better from a company that supposedly values the consumer's needs. And I find it sad that there are actually people defending this garbage, when in reality there is no valid defense, nor is it a business model worth defending. And it especially confuses me that Nintendo, a company with a reputation for hunting down ROM sites, finally has the answer to combating illegal emulation of their products by offering something potentially better than those sites. Yet this limited release is only going to incentivize others to emulate instead, and in the end, neither the company nor the consumer would get what they completely wanted from the start.
Way to go, Nintendo. Way to go. Well, Rusty, another job well done. Now I can just sit back, relax, play games for a while, work on other side projects, and not worry about anything. Of course, that's just foreshadowing, isn't it? Because look at this, we just got another email from an unknown caller or messenger. Let's see what it's about. Why, hello, side-questing gentlemen. Remember me? It's your favorite clone, Abel. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed our little encounter last time. You sure kicked my ass. I gotta give you props for that. And I just want to say that it's not over. My employer is very interested in you. I don't know exactly why, but he is very interested and pays rather handsomely. Again, it's not personal or anything like that, but as a clone, we have to make a living, and living is a very difficult thing for a clone to do because organ degradation kind of goes along with the side effects of rapid aging. We have to constantly replace our organs. That's not exactly cheap, especially with the Earth SQG healthcare system. So why am I contacting you? Well, I just want you to stay safe from the COVID-19 virus that's affecting all of our respective planets, because I can't exactly make money kidnapping or killing someone who's already dead, so stay safe, okay? For my sake, and SideQuest Aside's sake. Thank you so much. And what is it you say again? Remember to stay amazing. That's not it. I don't care. See ya. Well, Rusty, just like the 90s Spider-Man comics, this clone saga, I guess, is going to continue whether we like it or not. Tell you what, Rusty, I'm going to go on a trip for a little while. So, computer, be sure to fill Rusty's dish 80% full every morning and 50% full at night.
Affirmative.
Thanks, computer. I could always count on you. Alright. Looks like we gotta finally end this.